My name is Julian, and I am 35 years old, living here in Seattle. My life used to feel like one of those constant gray Seattle days, stretching on and on without much light. I worked construction, a good honest living, but it was hard on the body and often just as hard on the spirit. Every morning, the alarm would buzz before the sun even thought about making an appearance. I'd grab a quick coffee, pull on my work boots, and head out to whatever site needed me that day. Sometimes it was a towering skyscraper, other times a small remodel. I saw beautiful homes being built, families starting new chapters, but my own chapter felt stuck on the same tired page. I lived in a small apartment, just enough space for me, a worn couch, and a bookshelf that held more dreams than actual books. My dream was simple, really, to open my own small workshop, a place where I could build things with my hands, not just hammer nails for someone else's vision. I wanted to craft furniture, design custom pieces, bring beauty into the world on my own terms. But building a dream takes money, and money was always scarce. Every paycheck went to rent, utilities, food, and the constant repairs my old, rust-pitted car always seemed to need. I'd try to save a little, tucking away $20 here, $50 there, but something always came up. A sudden medical bill, a higher utility charge, new tires for that ancient car. It felt like I was constantly running in place, pushing a boulder uphill only to have it roll back down. The hardest part wasn't the physical exhaustion. It was the quiet voice inside my head, my internal nemesis that whispered doubts. "What's the point, Julian?" it would say. "You're never going to get ahead. You're just a construction worker, always will be. Why even bother trying?" That voice was a heavy weight, heavier than any beam I ever lifted. It made the Seattle rain feel colder and the long days feel endless. I fought it every day, tried to tell myself I was capable, but the constant setbacks wore me down. I started to believe that maybe I wasn't meant for anything more, that my dreams were just silly pipe dreams for someone else, someone with more luck, more opportunity, more resilience than I felt I had left. The thought of giving up was a constant hum in the background, a dangerous lullaby that promised an end to the struggle. I decided I couldn't live with that voice winning. I started working extra shifts, volunteering for the less desirable weekend jobs, doing whatever I could to boost my savings. My goal was a carpentry course at a local college, just an evening class, something to get my foot in the door, learn the finer points of woodworking. It wasn't cheap, but I saw it as an investment in my future, a way to silence that nagging doubt. For months, I barely saw daylight outside of work. I ate ramen noodles, skipped coffee runs, and even walked to work sometimes to save on gas money for my old beat-up car. Slowly, painstakingly, the number in my savings account grew. I could feel a flicker of hope, a tiny spark in the gray. I even started sketching designs in a small notebook during my lunch breaks, imagining the pieces I would create. The application deadline for the course was approaching, and I was almost there. Just a few more weeks, a few more extra shifts, and I'd have enough to cover the tuition and materials. It felt like I was finally making progress, finally climbing out of the hole I'd been stuck in for so long. Then the first blow came. The large commercial project I'd been working on for months, the one that guaranteed steady overtime, was suddenly canceled. The company said they couldn't afford to keep us all on. Just like that, I was out of a job. It felt like a punch to the gut. All that effort, all that sacrifice, and now I was back to square one looking for new work. I scrambled, took temporary jobs, anything to keep money coming in. It was less pay, less stability. The savings I had painstakingly built up started to dwindle, used for rent and food while I searched for consistent work. Then my old car, my lifeline, decided to die. Not just a flat tire or a dead battery this time. The engine seized up, mechanics telling me it would cost more to fix than the car was worth. Without a car, getting to the scattered construction sites around Seattle became even harder. I relied on buses, long walks in the rain, and favors from friends. The money I had left was suddenly eaten up by bus passes, and the down payment on a truly beat-up old sedan, barely running, that was all I could afford. It was a rust bucket, noisy and unreliable, but it moved. The carpentry course seemed a million miles away now. That internal voice, my nemesis, grew louder, mocking me. "See, I told you it was pointless. You can't escape this, Julian, just give up." I was so tired, so utterly exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I felt a deep, chilling despair settle over me. I still tried, still took whatever job I could find, but my spirit was wilting. The final blow came when I was called for an interview for a steady, well-paying construction job, one that could have turned everything around. I was hopeful, excited, meticulously prepared. But on the way to the interview, that old, sputtering sedan chose the worst possible moment to break down on the side of the highway, belching smoke. I missed the interview. I called to explain, but the position was already filled. Standing there in the pouring rain, watching my last hope sputter away, I felt something inside me break. I collapsed onto the curb, soaking wet, tears mixing with the rain on my face. It wasn't just about the job, it was about everything. The endless struggle, the shattered dreams, the feeling of being utterly alone against a world that seemed determined to keep me down. I just wanted to disappear. I truly felt like giving up entirely. The car was dead. My spirit was dead. I had nothing left to fight with. That night, after hitching a ride home from a kind stranger who saw me stranded, I felt hollowed out. I couldn't sleep. The apartment felt cold and empty. I just wanted to drive somewhere, anywhere, to clear my head, even if it was just aimless driving. My old car was beyond repair, but I had one more ancient clunker, an even older model a friend had practically given me for free, just to get around after the other one died. It was a rolling death trap, but it was all I had. I got in, turned the key, and it rattled to life, protesting every inch of the way. I drove through the dark, rain-slicked streets of Seattle, the city lights a blurry smear through the worn windshield. My mind was a jumble of despair and frustration. I wasn't paying enough attention. The traffic was heavy, the road wet. One moment I was lost in my thoughts, the next there was a blinding flash of headlights, the screech of tires, a sickening crunch of metal. My world spun, glass shattered, and then everything went black. When I came to, I was disoriented, a throbbing pain in my head. I could smell something acrid, sharp, like burning plastic. Smoke was filling the inside of the car, stinging my eyes and lungs. I tried to move, but my leg was pinned, the steering wheel crushed against my chest. Panic seized me. I saw flames licking at the dashboard, growing rapidly. My old car was on fire. I yelled, but my voice was weak, choked by the smoke. I couldn't reach the door handle, couldn't free my leg. The heat was intense, searing. This was it, I thought, the ultimate defeat. My life, my dreams, ending here in a burning wreck on the side of the road. But then, through the smoke and the haze, I saw a face. A man, his features blurred by the heat and my fading consciousness, was yelling. He was yanking at my door, struggling against the mangled metal. I remember a flash of bright work gloves, the smell of his jacket, and then a sudden, incredible rush of air as he pulled me violently but carefully from the inferno. He dragged me away from the heat, away from the car just as the whole thing erupted in a roar of flames. I collapsed on the wet asphalt, coughing, gasping for breath, staring at the blazing wreck of what was left of my life. He stayed with me, talking calmly until the sirens arrived. He was just a stranger, a good Samaritan who saw a man in trouble and risked his own life without a moment's hesitation. I never got his name. The paramedics rushed me to the hospital, and by the time I recovered enough to ask about him, he was gone. He was just an ordinary hero in the night. That accident, that moment I was pulled from the burning car, wasn't just a physical rescue, it was a profound awakening. Lying in that hospital bed, battered and bruised, but alive, I realized how close I had come to losing everything and how much I still had to lose. That man, that stranger, didn't just save my body from the fire. He saved my spirit from the despair that had been burning inside me. It was a second chance, a powerful, undeniable sign that life was precious, that kindness existed, and that I couldn't give up on myself. The internal nemesis, the voice of doubt, was finally quieted, humbled by the sheer miracle of survival and the selfless act of another human being. I spent weeks recovering, and during that time I reflected deeply. I decided right then and there that I would not let fear or past setbacks define me any longer. I would live fully, pursue my dreams with every ounce of strength I had, and pay forward the kindness I had received. My first step was small but significant. I started volunteering at a community center, helping with basic repairs and odd jobs, putting my construction skills to use for others. It wasn't paid work, but it was fulfilling, and it reminded me of the joy of creation. I met people there who needed help, people who were struggling just like I had been. I found myself listening, offering encouragement, sharing my story of resilience. And then I took my leap of faith. I enrolled in that carpentry course, using what little insurance money I received from the car and working part-time jobs during the day to cover living expenses. It was still hard, but this time the struggle felt different. It was purposeful. I was learning, growing, creating. I felt a sense of purpose I hadn't known before. Years passed, and slowly, surely, my dream became a reality. I started my own small woodworking workshop right here in Seattle, a cozy space filled with the smell of sawdust and fresh wood. I built custom furniture, designed unique pieces, and taught woodworking classes to others. My hands were busy, my mind was engaged, and my heart was full. I made sure to dedicate a portion of my time and resources to helping others, offering free workshops to underprivileged youth, mentoring aspiring woodworkers, and always keeping an eye out for people who might just need a quiet word of encouragement or a helping hand. I remembered what it felt like to be at rock bottom, and I vowed to be a beacon of hope for someone else. Every year on the anniversary of that night, I return to the spot on the highway where my car burned and my life was saved. I park my car safely nearby, walk to the roadside, and leave a bouquet of fresh flowers. It's a quiet ritual, a personal tribute to the unknown stranger who pulled me from the flames. The flowers are a silent thank you, a promise to live my second chance well, and a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there is incredible light, incredible kindness to be found. I never found my rescuer, but his act lives on through me, a ripple effect of compassion. Sometimes, as I stand there, the wind rustling through the leaves, I wonder if he ever drives by, if he ever sees the flowers. But whether he does or not, it doesn't matter. The act itself was the gift, and it taught me that even a single moment of kindness can change an entire life, setting it on a path not just of survival, but of thriving. Things truly do get better, especially when we remember that we are all connected, and that sometimes a stranger's hand can pull us from a fire we didn't even know we were in. And sometimes that fire isn't just in a car, but deep within our very souls.